This vibration is by far one of the most miraculous vibrations that exist in the universe. Because it is a stabilizer, it's impossible to overdose on it. It helps us to grow and to develop, because at any stage or any layer which we're stuck at, all of life follows this process. And because it has every single vibration in it, it can give us everything that we need at any given moment to move ourselves to that next level. In other words, it prevents us from getting stuck. It prevents us from being blocked. This vibration literally grabs us by the hand and walks us through it. And if we trip and stumble and can't walk anymore, this vibration just picks us up and it carries us through whatever obstacles that are in front of us in order to unlock the body. Now this is very, very, very important. This vibration is the vibration which activates the body, it activates the DNA, it activates life, it opens up choice, you see? It opens up options. When we create a judgment, we're basically saying one vibration is the way and all of the other vibrations are wrong, which create a block and stop our energy from being able to flow properly, to flow under these laws of vibrational energy, to flow under love. So what Sacred G does is generate this full spectrum vibration, which at any point when we're stuck, if we get stuck here and it's not moving forward, it blows up an experience in order to teach us and say, hey, wait a sec, you're missing something. There's value in all these vibrations. And once it opens it up, it also starts to integrate this energy back in and close it all up as well. When we get full-blown into an experience, into a conscious experience, it's actually at the halfway mark. The halfway mark is essentially 5. We have start when we're at 0, it's nothing. 10 is basically everything once we completed our training in that one layer. 5 is halfway. When we fully consciously are immersed in that experience that we're going through, whether it's a trauma, whether it's an amazing time, if you're skydiving, everything from the moment you get a thought, which is 1, to go skydiving, up to the point when you're actually skydiving, when you're free falling, that's 5. Afterwards, you need to close up that experience so that it's all done. So you need to go back inside and process those memories. Clear that emotion out, make these new internal connections, solve new information, solve conflicts in your information system that you already have, open yourself up, make the connections, reach the truth, and close that experience up. If you've had a trauma where you've been injured or hurt, that trauma actually happened at 5. In other words, that's when you physically went through the experience. It was already building up to it until 5. When you go through a trauma, that's 5. That's when it happens. Afterwards, you have to go through and you got to clear the emotion out. Then you got to make the new connections. You got to learn why. You have to change your false belief systems. And once you make those connections and you get that truth, you close it up. You don't think of the trauma again. It's finished. It's done. But here's what happens. I'll show you something really neat. I'm going to draw this a little differently. This is amazing. This is why our body breaks down. Let's say this is 0, this is 10, this is 5. I'm just going to draw this in different circles. So we have a dot, maybe this one. We have this real big one here, smaller one, and a dot again. So what I've done is just put a couple more layers in here. And this is your experience at 0. It's all closed up. As you're building up to the experience, there's getting more energy put into it. Here is your full-blown experience. That's when you're consciously going through the actual event. So if it's a major trauma, again, you can see that there's a major amount of energy that's inside. Remember, sacred geometry explains space. What's space? What's all of life? All of life is just made up of more space. Inside, more space. Inside, more space. It's only a tiny little layer, which is still space. It's just pressurized space, separating this internal space from this external space. So what's really interesting about this is when we're at 5, this is when this energy or this circle is the biggest. If we don't go inside and go back afterwards and meditate and get back into the emotion, go back into the experience and clear whatever emotion was still left in there in our memory, this stays big. In other words, this is a memory here that's storing a ton of energy inside of it. As you clear the emotion out, this circle grows smaller, freeing up extra energy. As you let go of the emotion, you let go of the judgment. In other words, now you open yourself to new perceptions, to new vibrations. When you open yourself up to these new vibrations, you start to listen to other people's perceptions and gain their perspective. You start to identify new perspectives simply because you don't have the emotion. You find balanced perspectives. And eventually you have enough perspective and enough perception that you can identify the truth. You identify a full spectrum, and that's when you get those awesome connections inside where your body gets tingles, your hairs might stand up, and you get those little rush of energy through your body. And you know you got it. That's the truth. Well, that's when you've closed this back up, and what's kind of what I call 10. And you basically move from a place of innocence to a place of intelligence. 0 to 10, that's the growth cycle. So that is the full spectrum vibration. It's designed to literally jump us through this entire system, no matter where we're caught up, no matter where we're blocked, no matter what we want to learn. It's simply a vibration. And Sacred G, which produces this full spectrum on a flat surface, is a way to get there for us. An accelerated way. One that automates, feeds our body this full spectrum. It feeds it this stabilizing agent, this stabilizing energy, this white light, and it starts to open the body up. It allows your unique individual expression to come out. It allows you to establish your new identity, your value, your purpose. And that's when you become a wealthy individual serving humanity.